Nancy Giles is a social commentator, and Joel Mowbray is a syndicated columnist and reporter for National Review. Thanks to both of you guys for joining us right now. Nancy, we'll start with you. I mean, we've seen Senator Clinton in the course of the last really 4 days be at times cordial, more recently coarse, even saying, "Shame on you, Barack Obama." Is she swinging at this point to try to see what sticks, or what's going on?
That's kind of a funny thing you just said, is she swinging? I don't know. One of the things that really kind of almost made me laugh was she ended that last tirade with, "Meet you in Ohio." They were both in Ohio already, so there's not like any room for a real,
But also the
fight.
debates, when she had her last chance to debate, she didn't take advantage of it.
And she seemed very sweet and sort of cordial, and I wouldn't exactly say throwing in the towel, but there was a kind of classy, hey, we'll be all right and whatnot, that later was accused of being lifted from both her husband, Bill Clinton, and John Edwards' speeches.
Let's take a look at those exact words from the end of the debate where it seemed to be a valedictory moment. Joel will ask you on the other side. Take a listen. We're going to show that in just a second, but suffice to say, she said, "I'm honored to be on stage," as she reached across the...
That was an original line. I'm honored to be on stage.
So the question is, she tried to...
him.
She did, which he had done that was effective. We're going to take a look, and you can see that moment for yourself quickly.
Okay.
Now, I could stand up here and say, let's just get everybody together. Let's get unified. The sky will open. The light will come down, celestial choirs will be singing, and everyone will know we should do the right thing, and the world will be perfect.
Mocking tone, sarcasm, does it work?
I'm not feeling particularly warm towards her when I see that. I mean, all politics aside, I wouldn't vote for Hillary. I couldn't bring myself to vote for her. But, I'm kind of repulsed looking at that. I actually, Nancy and I talked on this set right here about the debate the morning after, and, I actually felt she was human in the debate. I thought she was nice. I thought she was warm. I thought she was endearing in a way she hadn't been in a very long time. Not really since the 2000 campaign when Rick Lazio looked like he was bullying her on stage.
I mean, is that enough?
She looked good again, but I think the poll numbers, and I'm guessing Mark Penn poll-tested the heck out of the debate and said, you know what, you're not moving the needle, you're not getting people to come back to you, the momentum is all in his favor, you've got to do something to shake it up. And it's not in the Clintons to just bow out gracefully. They fight to win. Yes. They do.
Well, the other thing is, I mean, you bring up a great point about Mark Penn. There's so much focus group testing that has gone on with her campaign that literally week to week it's something different. 3 days ago it was get real, get real. Now it's shame on you, and mocking, the spirit of all the people that have come out in favor of Barack Obama. And I want to make sure, I want to clarify that the things that I say about her, I'm not dumping on her because she's a woman or saying there's necessarily a double standard with a female candidate, but it's the lack of I don't know, center. Like, what does she organically really feel? It's hard to tell week to week, and it's really harder to tell now that she's not leading like she was for so long.
So which Clinton comes to the stage tomorrow night at Cleveland State here on MSNBC?
Well, first of all, Nancy, I'm glad you clarified. I thought you didn't like her because she was a woman.
I know.
We've gotten that out of the way.
To make sure that people didn't think I was sexist.
But, I don't know. Honestly, Peter, I don't know which is Hillary Clinton, the real Hillary Clinton. I don't know. I'm not sure she knows. I think part of the problem is she gets a lot of very sound advice, probably, mostly sound advice from Bill, and then she has Mark Penn, and then she has all these advisors in all these different camps, people saying different things to her, and I don't think she has the courage of her convictions enough to believe in herself as who she is to run in this race. And I think she has in moments, but she never hit her stride. And now with Barack, she's only responding to Barack. She is trying to knock him down enough so she can win in Ohio and Texas and live to fight another day in Pennsylvania. I think that's the name of the game right now for her.
And I'll say one more quick thing, and that's that if it was just whether we were going to get like nice Hillary or mean Hillary, that would be one thing. But still, that extra wild card of Bill, if she had just left Bill out of it, I mean, I know he's very popular, but the presence of Bill Clinton in this campaign has always been kind of confusing because is she really running her own race, or does she need him to sort of go and do the dirty work? And then I would definitely say dump him after him saying if she doesn't win Texas, she's out of it and it's your fault. Like, I didn't do it.
A lot of armchair quarterbacking. I'm going to cut us off and we'll finish. We're going to watch the real debate for ourselves and then respond to it tomorrow. But thanks to you, Nancy and Joel Mowbray, for being with us. Nancy Giles is a social commentator. Joel Mowbray is the syndicated columnist and reporter for National Review. Nice to visit with you, too.
Thank you.
So, Nancy, give us a sense. What's going on here? Is Obama essentially taking a detour off the high road? Is he getting caught in some of the minutia and some of the negativism that he's been opposed to throughout this campaign?
I don't think so. I don't know what other choice he has, you know, when he's kind of steamrolled by these waves of anger from Senator Clinton. I mean, you know, I think the lesson was learned by Democrats in the 2004 election when John Kerry was, as they now call it, swift-voted by George Bush and was trying to take the high road and didn't respond, and a lot of people wanted him to get in there and fight. The thing about the Clinton campaign is they keep shifting the bar. It's like, okay, if she wins Wisconsin, if she doesn't win Wisconsin, then she's out of it, and she doesn't win Wisconsin. Okay, so now it's Texas and Ohio and Pennsylvania. Okay, then not. I mean, and sometimes she's really conciliatory toward Barack Obama. Other times it's shame on you, Barack Obama. So it's very hard to sort of adjust.
And Joel, what do the conservatives say about this as they watch the sort of infighting on the Democratic side?
Giddy delight, I think, are the words that come to mind, because, you know, John McCain faces a very uphill slog, regardless of who the nominee is, and it's good for him if they're carrying his water, right? If she's setting up the template for the attacks on Barack Obama in the fall, or vice versa, he's doing that to her, then I think he has to be grateful. I mean, let's not forget that in 1988, Willie Horton was not raised originally by Bush or any Republicans. It was Al Gore. He was the one who raised the specter of Willie Horton first. I know it was the ad itself was a little bit of a disgrace, but that was what happened. Now, I think that McCain is the only beneficiary here of all of this, especially if Clinton gets the nomination, because she has been so polarizing and so poisonous. And I think the black vote, you're going to see a lot of people stay home. Some people, in fact, will end up voting for McCain. It's not a completely monolithic group.
But I do agree with you.
And Hispanics, I think that even some Hispanics who've said, you know, I like Barack, but I don't like what Hillary's doing to try to swing me over to her.
Well, the LA
will
Times
vote for
today,
McCain.
the LA Times suggests that plenty of Republicans who may have supported Obama now seem to be moving closer and closer to John McCain's side of things. What is
that in view of the New York Times article? Is that some sort of strange, sympathy vote? I don't know.
McCain's picked up a lot of sympathy for that.
I think it'll wear
because
out.
If it's John McCain versus the New York Times, John McCain's going to win with conservatives.
But if it's John McCain versus Barack Obama, I'm sorry, I think if you just stand and look at both guys, and I'm not trying to sound ageist, just like the last break, I wasn't trying to sound sexist, but this is a guy who's basically running on one topic, the war, the war, the war. He even just said that if he can't convince Americans that the war in Iraq is a success, then, you know, he's got no campaign.
Well,
and he's
succeeding. But I think that's true, Nancy, that's true. At the end of the day, what does John McCain offer that is substantially different from either Democrat? Substantially. And I mean like the
warmongering. I say that. And age.
Hang on. There's a question of what happens if we fail in Iraq. That is what McCain, I think, has to do, is say, look, there are real consequences if we pull out of Iraq prematurely.
This is a good debate. This is exactly what we're looking for. And I'm going to let the Democrats do it tomorrow night. And then when the Republicans...
Do we know how far apart they're standing on the stage? Because I think if they're sitting next to each other, they have to be nicer. But if they're further, and I mean this, if they're further apart, I think she's going to come out swinging.
Joel, you can watch MSNBC like everybody else tomorrow night, okay?
I'm glad you guys get it.
Exclusively at 9 p.m.
Too many debates.
Enough. From rockabye to Barackaby. Barack Obama could be bringing change to the maternity ward. Barack has been crowned Name of the Year by the Baby Name Wizard, an online site that tracks the popularity of baby names. Can you imagine all these little Baracks running around the U.S. in a few years? It means blessed, by the way, in both Swahili and Arabic. But Barack still has a way to go in the name game. Hillary is already in the top 1,000 names for girls, coming in at number 982. I mean, really? 982? There's only like 975 names possible, so she's pretty low. But the clear front runner, at least in this race, is John. John comes in at number 20.
Okay.